Everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live event where you're going to get all of your recycling questions answered today. Ladies, let's introduce ourselves so the audience knows who you are.
Hello, my name is Alicia Mizumechi. I work out of Brightside, St. Louis, and I'm here representing the City of St. Louis's Recycling Education and Outreach Program, St. Louis City Recycles.
I'm Sarah Stabell. I work for the St. Louis County Health Department in the Waste Management Program, and I'm representing St. Louis County.
You know, there's been a lot of things going on around recycling today, so let's kind of give everybody a backdrop on why we're here, what we want to talk about.
Sure, so today we're here talking about Recycle Responsibly. This is a region-wide recycling education campaign, so no matter where you live in the St. Louis area, you understand the six things you should be recycling, how to stick with the six so we can all recycle responsibly and put the right things in our bins.
Wonderful. I think some other things we need to talk about are, I don't know, the things we shouldn't put in our bins, because that's what I've been learning as I get to know you all more. Let's talk a little about that.
Exactly. We have a lot of wish cycling going on, so we hope and wish that if we put it in the bin, it'll make it to the right place. So we kind of want to myth buster this today and go through some things to answer some of your questions about those confusing little things of, but can I do something with this? So that's what we want to go over today with you.
Wonderful. All right, so let's start with our first stick with six item. Sarah, you wanna start us off?
All right, so we got the good one to start with. We're starting with paper. So we have folders, we have magazines, even if it's glossy paper, we have regular office paper, construction paper, and then we have some envelopes. So any classic stuff you see, junk mail at home, computer paper at work, all that fun stuff, we can keep throwing that in the recycle bin. One thing we do have kind of a little confusion on is the envelope. So even when it has this little plastic window in there, this can be recycled. So this won't contaminate the bin. Just throw those in just like with everything else.
Nice. See, that was one of our myths that I think we
There you
had.
go.
We all thought, or at least some of us thought, you couldn't put that in the recycling bin, so thank you. Melinda online has a question. Oh, no, sorry, that's Mary online. Hi, Mary. Are there certain types of paper that can be recycled, she says. I think she might mean that cannot be recycled.
Okay. Things that cannot be recycled out of paper, we have a little good remembering tool for you. Any paper that touches a hole on your body needs to stay out of the recycle bin. So your Kleenex, your paper towels, your toilet paper, all of that, the fibers it's made out of are already too small and have most likely already come from recycled products. So we want to keep those out of the bin, and any of your little gross boogers we also don't want. So we're going to keep anything like that out of the recycle bin.
Well, I'm glad my boogers cannot be recycled.
Yeah.
We have another question from Deb. Hi, Deb. Thanks for joining us. She'd like to know if paper folders with metal tabs can be recycled as is. That's a great question.
Okay. We like to say, again, when it's little like that, you can go ahead and throw it in. If you want to be a super recycler, you can also tear that apart and take that metal off. So it's really just how dedicated you are to that process. But again, if you're really not sure, if you're thinking that's going to contaminate the bin, just keep it out and throw it away.
Nice. Awesome. All right. I'm trying to see if we have any more questions about paper before we move on. It looks like we're good.
Cool.
All right. So, Alicia, let's talk about cardboard.
Yeah, so cardboard's the number 2 thing on the stick with the 6 list. So tons of cardboard can go in your recycling bin. This is one of our recycling staple items. So cardboard boxes from the grocery store, like your cereal box, a pasta box, even paper towel tubes or toilet paper tubes, Kleenex boxes, minus the tissues, those can all go in your recycling bin. Even this egg carton, so these are great egg cartons that you can recycle at home, and especially just paper cardboard boxes. So your Amazon shipments, you can put those in your recycling bin. You don't need to worry about any bits of tape or like a little windowed envelope or a label. It's all good. You just want to break down any boxes. You want to flatten them. And that's important because when you put them in your bin, you want to make sure that the lid closes. So if that's your recycling roll cart at home, or if you live in a city and share a recycling dumpster with your neighbors, you can fit all your recycling in there and keep the lids closed.
Got it. So the myth then, it sounds like,
right,
is...
the myth. So the The reason we need to keep the lids closed is so our recyclables stay dry. Once cardboard gets wet, and same with paper, it just gets gross and mushy. It contaminates the other good recyclables, and then it's not able to be recycled anymore. So to keep it easy, you just want to break down that cardboard and put the lid on. And especially if you have a giant box, how are you supposed to fit the rest of your recyclables in there if you're stuffing a box that won't let the lid close? So break down those boxes so there's lots of room for recycling.
Nice. Well, guys, we got a lot of questions coming in. I think some of them might be a little delayed with our connection, so bear with us, friends, as we get your questions answered. We will.
Bring them in.
We have a couple more questions about paper.
Okay.
What about butcher paper?
Oh, like that might have like wax on it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that out of the recycle bin.
Especially if it's gonna touch raw meat. You don't want
We don't want to
No.
know that.
Got it. And then looks like we also want to know about used paper plates. And does that fall in the world of cardboard? Does it fall in the world of paper? Does it fall in the world of trash, right?
A tricky one, but Sarah's got the
Another
best
tricky
answer.
one.
Thanks for asking that
So,
good question, Julie.
Certain paper plates definitely can be recycled. They don't have the waxy film on it or the little fun designs on it, but that's certain brands. So what we really want to do, if you again want to be a superstar and you want to make sure that those can be recycled because they're clean and they're dry and they're that certain brand, go for it. But to get rid of that confusion, let's just throw all our paper plates in the trash can.
Got it. Bran, thank you, is saying this is really interesting, but it's difficult to hear the speakers. Can you turn up their mic?
Yes, we will turn up our mics.
Yeah.
We don't have yeah, we don't have microphones, but we'll definitely talk louder.
Thank you. Good call out. We appreciate it. I saw another one come in about egg cartons. It's coming in fast. Let me
Egg
look.
cartons.
Can you talk a little bit more about egg cartons, please?
Sure. So at the grocery store, the type of egg cartons that I always see, so we have the awesome recyclable cardboard kind. There's also the plastic kind of clamshell kind. Those are also recyclable. The kind that is not are the styrofoam egg cartons. Those are just pure styrofoam. Styrofoam is not recyclable. You do not want to put that in your recycling bin.
Got it.
So choose the recyclable packaging.
And we also have a question about cardboard that held aluminum foil and has a strip of serrated metal for tearing. So I think they're talking about like the
a
Reynolds
foil.
wrap type deal,
Yeah,
right?
that's a tough one. I would say again, that little bit of metal probably won't make a difference, but if you want to be a super recycler, this is what I do at home. I just rip that piece off and then I kind of ball it up carefully and then recycle it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
See, we knew this was
Yeah.
important to have this
No,
event.
this
We
is-
all
this
have
is
these,
great.
Yeah,
yes,
great
we all
questions.
have these questions.
These are superstar questions, yeah.
Wonderful. All right, should we go on to the plastics?
Plastics.
Plastic bottles
Right.
and containers specifically.
Right, so what we are concentrating on now, what we're putting in our bin is plastic bottles and containers. So is it rigid? Does it hold its shape when you squeeze it? And then is it a container? Did it contain something? If you answer yes to both those questions, throw it in your recycle bin.
Woohoo.
If you answer no to one of those questions or both of those, let's put that in the trash or find another home for it.
Mhm.
So common things we're doing, milk jugs, water bottles, don't forget your bathroom with your shampoo and your body wash, any type of cleaners. These little things are still okay to keep on. So that's the stuff we want to concentrate on recycling for that. Some common myths that we kind of talk about is how you kind of see different colors. We aren't worried about the colors. As long as it's a plastic bottle or container, you are good.
All right, so I know this is my personal question.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do I have to clean these things out? Like, am I quick rinse? Am I soaking in soap and water? Do I have to rinse at all?
Yeah. So what we think of, I like to use the example of a peanut butter jar. I love peanut butter. I will scrape that thing down to its bones. But you know how you see those little lines, you know, like from the spoon, you just like can't get everything right. It's devastating. So that would be considered clean enough to be able to put in your recycle bin. Again, if you want to be a superstar and wash those out, no one is stopping you, but you can definitely have that type of residue. Same with yogurt, any of that type of food. You can keep that residue. It's when it's, half the bottle is still full, stuff like that. That's when you kind of have to decide about cleaning it, rinsing it, just get rid of it. Try to use up everything that you bought. That's probably the best thing you can do. Empty. So
can't drink anymore.
So I don't have to rinse my milk jugs out.
No.
as long as you got it all out, whatever those little drips, like that's fine. But if you forgot the milk in the back of the fridge for 5 weeks and it smells weird, let's dump that out.
Got it.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome. So we had that. I hope we answered that question. How clean or dry do the containers need to be? Does anybody else have more questions about our plastic containers?
What about the plastic that can't go in your recycling bin, like these pouches?
This is a really good question because we actually, what is this? I don't know. We don't want this in our recycle bin. Again, like we said, if it keeps its shape and it's rigid, put it in the recycle bin. If it doesn't, you can go like that. We don't want that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. We don't want any of that kind of stuff. Same with these. Again, we can't recycle that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. Certain plastic containers, we kind of want to look at what it's made out of, and you can kind of make that decision about that. But we want to just stick with plastic bottles and containers that hold their shape.
Well, we have a few more questions.
Perfect.
Of course.
Bring 'em on.
So I almost missed this one, and I have a few more after this, but I think this is great. Do caps stay on the bottles when we
tricky,
recycle them, or do
tricky.
we throw those away? Where do we stand?
So we want to put them on. Put your lids back on. If they are off, these are too small to get recycled. So this will just be a very long trip down to the landfill. So let's put those on, and then we can get those recycled too.
And what about the pumps on the
We're gonna keep
shampoo
those on
bottles?
too.
Yep,
You can
spray
keep those
bottle
on.
too.
Yep.
Although I like to say, take it off and use it on your next shampoo bottle.
Oh, yeah.
reuse.
$3.
That's perfect.
Right?
Yes.
Great
All
tip.
right. What about? Can you put Sharps containers in a recycling bin? And for people that don't know what Sharps containers are, please do share.
So that is when you have needles at home that you might, let's say, use insulin for.
Razor blades.
Yes, all that good stuff. So usually what they tell you to do is put it in a container that can't really break. So milk jug is a great example of that, again, because if you put that in here, you're not going to get stabbed from the needle again. But when you're putting it in a recyclable container, we now need to throw that in the trash.
Yes.
We cannot recycle needles. We don't want that. That is actually poking the workers at the processing facility that sorts this. So we want to make sure that anything that you put your needles in goes into the trash can. So keep that in mind. This is still a great container for those things, but we can't put those in the recycle bin.
Right. 2 more questions, and then we're going to move on because I suspect we can come back and answer more.
Yeah.
But we want to hear what containers are too small, and I keep hearing about China. They've stopped taking our plastic. Should we keep recycling anyway?
Good
So
question.
2 of those. Answer
Okay.
those for us, please.
Let's-
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, of course. So kind of a good rule of thumb, everyone has kind of different size things they like to use to relate to. We want smaller than a 5-gallon bucket, and then we like to kind of go like this size or smaller, we want to keep out of the recycle bin. So this is kind
Just
of a
too
good
small.
example, like this is too small. So just keep that in mind. And then as far as the China not taking our trash and recycling anymore, that's true. We've had to find new spaces for it. We also need to kind of clean up our act. It's not really fair to send trash over that can't be recycled to other countries. So that's kind of what we're concentrating on, is making sure that we are recycling the right stuff so that it is valuable resources that we can use. So I already kind of forgot the rest of that question.
Nope, I think that was pretty
but
much it.
keep recycling because there is a market for it.
Yeah.
That's the point. When it's
This is
clean,
good material.
yeah, this is good. We find homes for this. It's when it's your trash and all the wish cycling that's happening, that's the stuff that is a problem. So if you're sticking to what you're seeing in front of you, that does still get recycled, and we still absolutely want to keep that going.
And I think it's a change of mindset that we're trying to get people to understand. It's not everything turns into the next hairbrush, right? Or the next, reusable bag. That there are 6 items, and if we focus on these 6 items, we are going to improve our recycling efforts.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Let's go on and talk about our glass bottles and jars.
Sure.
Glass. This is great. So another thing, are we drinking and eating out of these glasses? We want to throw that in the recycle bin. So we have beautiful jars. This is awesome. And glass bottles. I'm trying to think of our myth buster because this was pretty easy.
What about like your drinking glasses at home, or if you have like an old vase or something, or dishes, baking dishes?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
the
yes,
Pyrex
yes.
dishes,
Yeah.
right?
So with those, we want to keep those out of the recycle bin because those are made from different glass that we can't use in that processing facility. So it won't be able to get recycled. So let's keep all those out of the recycle bin. Let's stick with the glasses we eat and drink out of. And then anything kind of heavier and made of different materials, let's keep that out.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary wants to know if glass is broken, can you still recycle it?
Yeah. It's
Easy
okay.
enough.
You definitely don't want to break it, but generally as it travels to the facility and through it, it'll get broken anyway. So you're good to go. Just don't hurt yourself.
And Julie would like to know, what about something like a pickle jar with a metal lid on it? Right? So you've got a glass jar with a metal lid. Can I throw it in my bin?
You can. Those are materials that can get recycled, so that is okay. And most of the stuff, again, how it gets broken, the lids pop up because of everything being smashed in a trash truck. So as long as it's made out of the material, you're good. So again, you can put those back on.
Got it. Wonderful. Let's see, do we have other questions? Guys, we do have questions. Thank you for asking them. I think one of the things we're going to do for time's sake is keep moving forward on our topics, but rest assured we'll come back in and we'll answer your questions specifically that maybe were about our earlier items like paper and plastic.
You got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So let's see, I guess number 5 on the list would be metal cans. So that includes food and beverage cans and even some cosmetic cans as well. So soda cans, you can recycle those. Tab is okay. Vegetable cans, soup cans, even aerosol cans. As long as they're completely empty, you can recycle those as well. And one of the myths and questions you always get is like, what about the label? Do I have to tear the label off? You don't, because the process that the cans go through, the temperature is so hot that we call it, the label just poofs away and it doesn't actually contaminate anything. So you don't have to worry about that as far as keeping them clean or rinsing them, as long as they're empty, just like the bottles and containers. If there's no more food in there, you're good to go and ready to recycle it. And so basically any metal, you don't have to worry about if it's steel or aluminum or what. Metal
And keep in mind, as long as it's not hazardous. So
Yes.
if you have questions about that, we can take that somewhere else too.
Empty.
But yeah, as long as they're empty and not hazardous material, chemicals in there, you're good.
What about my ball of aluminum foil that I've maybe, used on the top of my casserole, right?
Sure. Yeah, so with aluminum, that's a great product to recycle. So you just want to make sure it's clean. So if you just covered a baking dish and you take it off and there's no food residue on there, you're good. Put it, crumble it up, throw it in your recycling bin. If you baked a pie or something and you can see half the pie on there and you're trying to eat the delicious bits left, don't recycle that. Aluminum's pretty easy to clean, so you could always rinse off aluminum covers or baking trays or pie plates and reuse them, or just recycle them after they're clean.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, this one seems like a no-brainer for
Woo-hoo.
most people. Not
Yeah,
as
it's a
confusion
good
on
one.
that. All right, let's move on. And I believe this is our last of the 6, right?
Yep,
Yes.
so the number 6 item is cartons. Cartons are a great thing we can recycle. There's special machinery at all recycling facilities to be able to recycle cartons. So that includes milk cartons, juice cartons, and then even broth or cashew milk, almond milk. So basically any carton that you would get from the refrigerator section or the shelf section of your grocery store is good to recycle. You can just make sure it's empty, put the lid right back on and put it in your recycling bin. The types of cartons we can't recycle would be like an ice cream carton. So things from the freezer section are treated differently. They have like a special liner in there to prevent freezer burn, and that is a contaminant in the system. So as long as your carton came from the refrigerator or the shelf, you're good to recycle it. Or, I mean, yeah, as long as it's not from the freezer section.
All right.
Yep.
And then we had Jan ask, back to the aluminum, does the ball of aluminum foil need to be a minimum size? Meaning like,
Yeah, again, that same kind of like 2 inches in diameter or bigger is best to recycle it.
got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then the one that's kind of standing out here that I don't think we tackled was our friend, the plastic bag.
Oh, yes. we
Yeah.
definitely
And
go
all the
into
different
that.
types, like, so let's talk about grocery bags versus Ziploc bags versus bags that things
Yeah.
come in, right?
Absolutely. So this is our #1 contaminant in our recycling bin. And it's because, again, it's squishy, doesn't hold its shape, but it wraps around machinery at our processing facility. So they close down hours a day so that workers have to manually sit here and cut against the machinery to get it done so that the machinery can keep working. So we want to keep all of our plastic bags out of the recycling bin.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun, they have other homes, but if we're just concentrating on the 6 things that go in our recycle bin, we have to keep our plastic bags out. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to hang from the ceiling to cut plastic away from machinery that could cause me harm. So let's kind of keep in mind that people are at work and they want to stay safe, and keeping this out of the recycle bin keeps workers safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially it's a contaminant as well, as Sarah mentioned. So if this does make it through the sorting line, it's probably going to get mixed in with paper bales or cardboard bales. And this is not paper or cardboard. This is something that needs to go to a special place to recycle. And that would just be back to the grocery store, or even like a local retail store like Lowe's or Home Depot or IKEA. So you just ignore this little symbol with the number on it. You don't worry about that. You only want to do plastic bottles and containers in your recycling bin, and then take these plastic bags back to the grocery store for recycling.
Yeah.
And no bagged recyclables either. So if you collect your recyclables in a plastic bag, empty them loose into your roll cart or recycling dumpster, and then use the bag for trash or throw it away, but it can't go in your bin.
It won't get recycled if your recyclables
No.
are bagged. So keep that in mind. That's also just another long trip to the landfill if your recyclables are bagged.
And even like other plastic film too.
Yeah.
So like air packets, as long as they're deflated, those can be recycled at the store.
Bread bags, the
Yeah.
Ziploc bags.
Newspaper sleeves,
Yeah.
dry cleaner bags. We have a whole list on our website that can help you find what you need. So if you have more questions about recycling, you can go to recycleresponsibly.org. You'll find a link to all the types of plastic you can take back to the grocery store, as well as a link to a database where you can search for other items that aren't on the stick with the 6 list that you want to recycle or donate.
Absolutely. And they look for separate bins at the grocery store. So they're usually outside right by the door, and it'll say something about plastic bag recycling. So kind of keep your eye out next time you're at the grocery store.
Yeah, it's like a brown bin, and it's actually made out of recycled plastic bags. So it's a recycled plastic lumber that the bags get turned into, and they made bins out of it to collect them.
Awesome. And one last question, what other products can be made from recycled plastic bags?
So I guess mainly like the lumber, which could be used for containers, decking, park benches, and then I think some of it might get turned into like insulation and like coats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so fleece. Yeah, anything polyester is made from plastic, so it's just good that we keep this type of stretchy plastic separate from the rest of our great recyclables, so it can get turned into something new.
That's great advice. And then also, ladies, let's do a plug for our Plastic Awareness Day. Tell people a little bit about that.
Super excited.
So on April 13th, we have Plastic Bag Awareness Day. So it's a day to go out shopping, go to the stores, and kind of be aware of the bags we are using. We want to make sure that we're keeping bags out of the recycle bin, and then at stores you can also get a reusable bag to use, and then some places have discounts. Check out U City, they're giving away trolley tickets So
South
there's,
Grand's doing a gift card giveaway too. So if you're out shopping and you have a reusable shopping bag with you, you can get, you know, special prize or discount at some of our participating business districts. And then we have a number of local grocery stores where we'll have volunteers actually handing out reusable bags for shoppers, and these awesome window clings that we have to help you remember to bring your usable bag. And, you know, if you get a plastic bag, that's okay. You just want to recycle it responsibly because we're sticking with the 6. So April 13th is our day to use our reusable shopping bags and, you know, be great.
Yeah.
Recycle responsibly.
Mark your calendar,
Yeah.
continue to follow
Yes.
our page. We're going to promote the details on that. Also, for those of you whose questions we didn't answer, thank you so much for participating. We will be sure to answer your questions online, and if you found this information to be helpful, please help us spread the word because it is important information. Share the video with a friend, and stay tuned. We'll be announcing another live video next month
Yes.
coming up where we will be visiting
The material recovery facility. So that's where all of our recyclables get sorted. You can come with us, live feed what's happening in the plant, and it's really, really exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who joined us. We will see you soon.
thank
Thank you.